Alright, so here we are at the other workstation that I have, and if the sound is a little bit different, I do apologize. It's running off the laptop's microphone directly. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pretend like on my end that we have we are another animator, we're another team member, and we're going to be getting a file of a character that somebody else worked on that they put in the art kit. Well, on my end, the setup's going to be where my Maya has the Epic Games art tool already set up and ready to go. It works just fine. I've done a character on here before. And what I want to do is we're going to get that file on that thumb drive from Alicia, and we're going to go ahead and get her into the art kit and working on our end so we have just as much functionality as the guy that made it. Okay, so the only thing is, it's going to sound bad right off the bat, is that you're going to have to end up building this character kind of all over again. It sounds bad, but it's not as bad as it's going to be. So let's go ahead and let's get to it. So I got my thumb drive, plug it right in. So that way I'm pretending I just got the zip file or I downloaded that file. So I'm going to go ahead and open that folder, and there's our art tool. There's all the folders. There's all the files that we saved out from our last session that we were in on my other computer. Let me go ahead and jump on over to close that window, so I'll show you guys. So we'll go into the computer, and I want to navigate to where my Unreal was installed. On this computer, I got it on a different drive, so I'm going to come down to my Epic Games folder. 4.5 is the engine I'm using. I'm going to go to my engine folder, and I'm navigating all the way back to the animation rigging tools that Maya is saving out all my characters to. So in the Maya tools, general, and there we have our art files over again. So on the right side of the screen, we have all the files that Maya is searching for when it opens up the animation rigging toolkit from the Unreal folder. And on the left side is the thumb drive with the files that we saved out from the desktop. So I'm going to come into my art folder, and in our, just like we have like here's all of our same exact folders. I could drag and drop these, but I'm not going to do that because it seems kind of destructive doing that, because there might be files saved in here that have specific code that keep the other characters from being corrupted that you have saved out. So under Joint Mover Templates, open that up, and I'm going to delete everything really quickly. I'm going to delete what I have associated with Alicia, because I don't need to be. I'm going to try to pretend this is a clean slate here. So under our character rigs, this is actually one of the main folders we have. I have no animations. I'm pushing backspace to navigate backwards real quick. So Alicia, I'll delete that export file. Delete this one as well. Come back. We have no poses saved out. Delete my skeleton templates and bone template associated with Alicia. And we're going to leave that one alone since it says do not delete. So, okay, we have a clean slate on our other side here. So from our joint mover templates, we already know from an earlier guy, but this is where we're saving out our joint templates. That's where we position all of our bones. That's what these text files are doing. So we're going to go ahead and go back on the thumb drive under our projects folder, navigate into those rigs, projects, go into those rigs. We have no animations that we saved out. We do have animation rigs. These are the ones we got rid of. We're going to take the Alicia one, copy that. I'm going to drag that one in. Go back to the export files. Do the same thing. Your export file is just basically the mesh skin to a skeleton. That's all it is. So any animations you do in the engine, you can save those out at FBXs as long as the skeleton or the core of the skeleton matches what that skeleton is of that character. You can retarget that animation to that character. So I'm going to come back to our skin weights, which is definitely something I want to keep because I do not want to have to redo those again. Now if I notice, I don't have any skin weight file. I don't have a skin weight file on here. I do have it for other characters, but I don't, and Alicia, but I don't have, it's not saved out over here. So what I want to do, let me delete this one, it's a different skin template I saved out. I'm going to drag this skin weight and copy that over. So we're still in the art folder. I'm going to go ahead and paste that. Because this folder was never existing in here before, it'll come over just fine. And that should be all. But one more thing, we got the mesh. We can keep that or we can drag it onto the desktop. It doesn't really matter. We don't need to have it put into the ART kit because the ART kit's not going to look for this directly in here. It's going to look for those export files that we just moved over. So we're going to go ahead and go back into Maya. And we've got a brand new scene. So let's say you got all those files moved over. You got to associate where you need them to be. So we'll go ahead and go to File. I want to go ahead and import. Go to My Computer. I'm going to go to that desktop where we dragged that Alicia mesh out. Open that Alicia mesh. Go ahead and import that in. I'm going to ignore this. There's not really any errors that did come over. That just happens a lot on this machine. The only thing is, if you go into your shaded mode, you go into shaded, it's not going to have our materials associated. So that's another thing you're going to want to save out too on the other end, is if you don't want to be looking at this dull character, you can save out those texture files that you did for your materials when you set up your character on the other computer, on the other machine, or any. If you know how to work the hypershade or any of the materials, it's easy enough to apply those materials in, or those texture maps. Alright, so here's our mesh. Well, now we need to get this character. She's already facing the right direction. We're in the Z up, we're in the Y negative, so she's the same exact way we exported her out as she's ready to go as a game character. We're going to go ahead and open up our Epic Games, go to our character rig creator, and like I had done before in one of the videos where we had to rebuild our character because of unknown nodes that were in the scene, it's going to be the same exact process. So from here I want to go ahead and load that template, and I'm going to go ahead and find it. Oh, so what I just remembered was I missed a step. May come back to, because when I try to load the templates for the bones that we saved out for our template, I don't have it in there. I accidentally forgot to move that template over. So in that art file, skeleton templates, let's get that bone template over. Paste. And now when we reopen that, it should show up now. And there she is. So we're going to load that template. Just changes our settings. Skeleton placement. Yes, we do want those. Again, that proxy geometry comes in there. Even though she's not associated with a proxy geometry, she's associated with a game called proxy. Let's go ahead and get rid of that proxy geometry. Now we got to get this skeleton reset. Luckily, we don't got to rebuild any of that. So we'll go ahead and load the template. And there's Alicia's skeleton template. So let's go ahead and load that. And it snaps all of our saved out positions of all of our bones. She still doesn't have her skin information still in, so the next one we gotta do, go to deformation. Let's go ahead and create rig pose and just yes. And as soon as we say just save out rig pose, hit no for proxy geometry. We don't want to mess with that at all, because we're not working on proxy geometry, we're working on this character. And let's go ahead and we don't have to reskin this. All we got to do is re-import. We select that geometry, re-import that skin weight data. So it's going to ask us, can you find the skin weights where you saved it? And we saved it out and we exported it. So there's our skin weights. Go ahead and open that. And it's going to take just a minute for all the weighting data to be reapplied. So I'm going to pause the video and then it should be finished when we come back. Alright, took just a minute, so let's go ahead and make sure that our bones act the way they do. If you can't see the bone, let me turn on the bone so you guys can see it. Go down to shading and X-ray joints. That way we can see our joints through the mesh. Everything's looking pretty good. Let's go to the fingers. Let's go ahead and push F to frame that up. And I'm going to select up the chain here. I'm going to do it to every other finger so I can really make sure that the skin weights did come back just fine. Let me rotate those fingers in. Yep. And it looks like everything is acting the way it's supposed to. I know the skirt was one of the harder places for me to really skin, so I want to make sure this one came in just fine. Let me go ahead and push F to frame that up again so I can rotate in a local space. Okay, and we'll flare the dress. And the skirt just came in just good. Alright, so all of our skin weight data came back just fine. So the next thing we need to do is we got to build a control rig. Well, we didn't have a control rig saved out. This is where I was saying we had to kind of rebuild our character. So because we did everything else, I mean, the character's pretty much good to go. Once we build the control rig, all it's going to do is ask us where do you want to save it. I'm going to save over this Alicia file again. I'm going to build it. I want to overwrite. And if I can change that thumbnail, I will. Well, she kind of looks like something out of the grunge, but better than the eyeballs showing through. So I'm going to go ahead and rebuild that character. Again, the control rig is being rebuilt. All those files are associated, so we can go ahead and close that out. If we come down to add character for animation, there's our Alicia / grunge girl. And now we are back to having a workable character in the art kit. So if you do not have any of your files, if the person getting this doesn't have any of the character files, well, now they do. So that's how to get another character that someone else built saved out and working in the art kit for another workstation. So hopefully this helped you guys. Any questions, feel free to send them my way and I will help you out as best I can. Thanks.